in conversation with legends. I mean, here he is. It's the second time I've got to speak to this guy, so I'm very lucky. And we did a bit of backwards and forwards, and it took a while, but here we are, the great Eric Roberson.
Yes, man. How you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I cannot complain. So it's good to hear to speak with you.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Now, the last time we spoke, you were in London and doing a concert at Islington Assembly Hall.
Oh yeah, Assembly Hall. Yes. Yeah,
That's
great
right.
place.
And I have to say, guys, Rob, Eric is not a small guy. He is a big guy. But when you see, he just hovers across the stage like he's on wheels. You've
Yes.
really developed a fantastic style.
Thank you. I mean, it's just
You re-
I'm comfortable on stage. I've been on stage for a long time. Since I was a little kid, and it's a second home for me. So and when you get on a great stage like Islington Assembly Hall, where the sound is so good and the energy of the room is just amazing, you are floating. you know, you don't
yeah,
get to
I
do
mean,
it. Yeah, so
you see it. I mean, you see, you come to life. It's a very inspirational movement that you have on stage. And as for the style, I have to say, we have to work out a deal after this interview about that coat. I need that coat.
ah, so there's a guy named Hamid Hamilton. He made all of my clothes for that tour. He's an amazing designer. But Hamid
Yeah.
Holloman, he's based in Philadelphia. Yeah, you listen. I don't wore those. Look, a million people done, pictures, and we done rock those. So yeah, let me know. That's we'll
Yeah,
hook you
we
up.
have to have a conversation about that. Now, you started your
Yeah,
own record company called Eero, which is basically letters
yeah,
from your first name and your surname. When did you
yeah.
start the record company?
20 years ago. To this year is my 20th year. We released an album called Esoteric in 2001,
Right.
and I don't know if I knew what I was doing at the time. I was really just trying to uh, not not be lost in the shuffle of the craziness in the music business. I didn't want my music to be what we call lost art, like just not getting to the intended
Yeah,
ear.
just
And from
another
there, kind
artist,
of,
another artist,
yeah,
another artist on a conveyor belt.
yeah. And for me, creativity was very important to me. So how a record was made and what I was writing about, I love being a songwriter, but I love being a certain songwriter. I didn't want to go into the assembly line, even though I'm a songwriter for many other people. And sure, there's a level of politics with that, but for the most part, I think even when you look at the songs that I wrote for other people, there's very little compromise in that, except for what's the best character I can bring out of them. How much can I tell their story? You know what I mean? But I found my way of doing that. So it worked, man. It's been a blessing, man. We've been doing it for 20 years, man. So I got no complaints about that.
Well, I mean, that's the real sign of somebody who loves what they do because they say, I want to bring the best out in the artist that I'm writing for. Because you had a songwriting deal with EMI, right?
Yeah, still do it. EMI got acquired by Sony, so
Right.
now my publishing deal is with Sony, and pretty much what that is that they collect my royalties. They collect my songwriting royalties,
Yeah.
um, for all over the world, and for people I write for and stuff like that. And so a publishing deal is pretty much, you think about it, it's a bank loan with a music title on it. So
Absolutely.
they here's this money, and then we'll collect it for you and add it back to your reserve with interest.
So do
You
you
know,
write for specific people or do you just write and whoever gravitates to your song that it's given to, they sing it? How does that work?
it's a little bit of both. I think early on, I was saying, "Oh man, okay, Mary J. Blige is looking for songs. Let me write like that, or let me write songs that Jill Scott would want to sing." And I think
Yeah.
the more I started really defining my style a little bit more, then it was more of like, if you want a style of something I would do, then call me, because I'm probably going to try to write something a little bit different in a different place. But then
Yeah.
there's also you want to take a minute and just, for me, it's like when I work with an artist, man, it's like, let's go to the movies, let's go out to eat, let's just talk for a minute before I write anything. I don't want to just say,
Yes.
here's the top 5 songs I got. It's like, I want to see what you're going through. When we were working on Vivian Green, for example, her first album, she was going through a pretty bad breakup. So when you listen to that album, it's, her emotion roller coaster. What is love? It's these sad songs
Right.
because that's what she was at. It would have been hard to like talk with you and you're close to crying and going through a hard time and then say, all right, but let's sing about rainbows and happiness. We ain't gonna
Yeah.
it's like, that's not where her spirit was at, So I was like, all right, where your spirit at?
And it makes
And
sense that you actually say, well, yeah, I want to meet the person and kind of
yeah,
get to know them, their energy, their spirit, because then it's a much more productive writing process directly for that person rather
yeah.
than, a generic.
Now what's interesting is that like when I wrote for Charlie Wilson, I didn't meet him. Uh,
Okay.
and even with Will, the song I did with Will Downing, now I know Will great. I know him very well. But at the time when I recorded the song, when I wrote a song for him, I wasn't in the studio when he recorded. They just wanted the song, and
Okay.
which I thought was cool. So you have all those different kind of scenarios. But ideally, I would love to kind of sit and kind of see what your vibe is, what your style is, your strengths and weaknesses, and then where you are in your life, and then I would write from that perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're originally from New Jersey, right?
Yeah. I still actually live in New Jersey. I mean, I've lived all over at some point,
Okay.
when just trying to get the music business to pop, but I'm still a Jersey kid.
Some people like to move away from home to get their thing on, and others they want to stay close to home.
No, look, my parents live about 10 minutes down the street, and thank God they do, because they just came and picked up my 5-year-old just 2 seconds ago. If not, he'll been doing this interview with us. What question you got for me? So
Exactly. What about me? Forget him. Well, I
so
mean, 10 minutes down the road, you don't get any closer than that. That's really close to
yeah,
home.
yeah, but it works out though, man. We a tight knit family. My wife's family is not too far away either, so I kind of
Right.
prefer it.
She's a Jersey girl as well, is she?
She's a Jersey as well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And you're very
So
much a family man because I see the stuff that you do on social media, and the family are always involved. It's a
yeah,
nice thing. I saw when you got the car loaned and the I've been following you. Don't worry, I've done my research.
yeah.
But your little man there was in the studio making his music already, and I love that you include them.
It's on and popping. Yeah, I mean, for me, I want to be a successful artist, but I want to be a successful dad too. You know what I mean? So, and it's a wrestle match with that, because when you have a big project or whatever, that takes a lot of time. So you got to wrestle with
Absolutely.
balance. So my overall goal is always just to kind of. There's never a room that they're not invited in. When I'm recording, they can come in. I mean, if you listen closely, you'll hear kids talking on the records of the last 10 years. If you listen closely, there's
And
kids
you're trying to
crying
go,
in it.
I'm recording.
Nah, I once had an engineer. He was mixing a record for me. I don't know what song it was, but he called me and he said, "Hey man, at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, do I hear a kid?" And I said, yeah, you probably do." I said, leave him in. It's like at this point, just
Quite
it's
right. He's all part
part of
of
the
the
profession.
process too, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. So so I love it, man. I try to hopefully they're taking on some of the stuff, and we'll get into songwriting or get into something creative for their own right, whether it's
Well, as
designing
you said, he
clothes or
has
furniture
already
or anything.
started because we saw him doing his own drum thing. He's already started. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 5. Well, so it might be my 8-year-old, my 5-year-old. Both of those play instruments, and then my 10-year-old has a beautiful voice. Oh, he has a. I can already tell he's going to be a great singer. At 10 years old, he already has a really beautiful voice, and I wouldn't be surprised if the other ones will be able to sing too. But yeah, they're some really talented kids, man.
So where does the music come from for you? Who in the family is the talented one that you took it from, or are you the one?
Well, so let me first start with my mom. My mom's not musical, but my mom's definitely a creative. She was into fashion. I think, the fashion sense that I think you see me have comes from watching my mom kind of design and style and look what fits and
Right.
works for her, right? But my dad was the singer. My dad was the one who played guitar and sang, and my sister followed
Okay.
right through. So, my dad was the giant of the house, so he was always playing guitar. He was always, but it wasn't something I was learning from because I was just, and it's interesting. I got to look at that in how I am today. Wasn't necessarily studying him because he had it already, right? So if anything, it was
Yeah.
intimidating more than anything. But my sister, I had an older sister. I have an older sister, and she was the one who played in bands. She designed clothes. She was just a mixture of all that stuff. She did theater, and I found myself really imitating her.
Okay.
Like in everything. That's like whatever she's doing, I'm doing, and that's how I got into theater. That's how I got into, making music and stuff like that. Maybe the difference might have been my sister might have been trying to learn. Like I never was interested in playing somebody else's stuff. I was never interested in like reciting someone else's speech or poem from the
You
gate.
always
For the
wanted
first
to
time I ever
be
touched the
an
keyboard.
original.
Yeah, I was like, that's nice. All right, let me try to make something up. And my 8-year-old is that way too now. My 8-year-old is like, let me show you this chord. No, let me show you this chord. And it's like, all right,
And you have to look and go, you know what? I know exactly where he gets it from. I know
yeah, I know
exactly
that
where he
all the
gets
way.
it from. But you really
I
are
know
the
that all
real
the way.
deal. You really are the real deal because you studied music and musical theater at Howard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was the greatest experience. And I tell you, the blessing of it also was that my parents allowed me to go to school with my music equipment. So I showed up with, a recorder and a sequencer keyboard. So when I showed up with all that stuff, you know, anyone who played music at all, the word was out at school.
Yeah.
Who's this freshman kid just walked in and he got a studio in his dorm room, and it was on and popping from like the time I couldn't even unpack. Yo, you do beats? Yo, I sing. And before you know it, I had a little dorm room. It was probably the size of like a bathroom, right? Like, it was like there was a little twin size bed, a desk, and maybe like a little small area walking room. And I would probably say that for my first year at Howard, there was never a time where there wasn't 3 people in that room. 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even when I'm in class, I'm going in class, there's got to be 3 people in that room working all the
People in
time.
your room because they're using your instruments, right? And
Yeah. I would wake up in the morning and I would hear tapping. I would hear like this, right? And when I would look up, it'd be somebody with headphones playing the keyboard.
in your dorm room.
That's how I woke up every morning. I woke up every morning to somebody tapping because whoever was in, so it was like cycled around like one. But the great thing about that is a lot of those guys, I'm still friends with, I'm still make music with, I still collaborate with, and we're still doing this. We still love it.
I was going to say, not only were you creating great memories at the time, but you were also forging great friendships for the future.
It's all about the friendship, really. I mean, at the end of the day, success is whack if it's just by yourself. You know what I mean? And also that feeling when a song gives you goosebumps, and that's a little bit of difference of how music is today. I feel like every epiphany I had in music, I had next to somebody.
Right.
Did you hear that? Oh my God, that's crazy. Discovering Tribe Called Quest in the car with my friends, studying like Blame It on the Sun by Stevie Wonder was amazing for me. It changed me as a songwriter because it was the first time I heard a song where it wasn't like, oh, you hurt me, I'm the victim, or I'm the superhero, I'll love you. He said, I blame everything. I blame the sun, I blame the sky. But when I'm home alone, my heart blames me. It was like, oh my God. And immediately when I got that lesson, I called somebody like, yo, listen to this. Do you see what I'm seeing? And it's like, and today now, I think everything is so headphone driven and so individual now that people might have an individual relationship, but I kind of miss that community, camaraderie celebration of learning and sharing goosebumps. And maybe we do that from the show. Maybe that's why performance is so special. When you get on stage, you have all these people here, and we're all celebrating that together. But I think I kind of missed that a little bit about and especially now with the pandemic.
That's the thing about music, though. And as you say it there, that is exactly it. Sharing goosebumps. Music is about it giving you the goosebumps. But if you're with people who actually feel the same thing that you do, there's automatically a connection.
So let me ask you, I have a question for you. Have you ever ended a friendship because y'all didn't see the same musically?
I wouldn't say I'm that extreme. I wouldn't say I'm that extreme, but I have thought, no, we need to discuss this, and I have to really reason with you about this.
I mean, not like best friends, but like, you know, or like, I'll say this. No, I'll say this. When Jay Dilla came out, I remember, and this happened several times in my life. But specifically, I can remember Jay Dilla. When I heard Jay Dilla for the first time, and it was such a life-changing experience for me in how I heard music and would do music going forward. Everyone I shared it with that I did music with that did not like it, I don't think I did music with them anymore. And I mean, really? There was a line drawn in the sand. Wow. Now, mind you, 90% of the people all heard what I heard. And it was like, this is absolutely incredible. This is life-changing. This is, oh my God. But those who are like, it's all right. Okay. I was like, cool. It's still all love. It's still all love. You call me, you need me, fam, I'm here. But I'm not really coming in that studio with you now. That kind of like,
okay.
That's
right,
almost,
I see.
That's kind of almost like, imagine you and I are chefs, right?
Yeah.
And then you discover soul food for the first time, like fried chicken, whiting and candy yams, and, you know, collard greens with turkey meat in it, right? You're like, oh my God, this is the way I will cook from now on. And then you come up to me and you're like, taste this. And I'm like,
it's all right.
Not too much season. Let me show you how I really should make macaroni and cheese. I'll be like, nah, B, you stay over there and keep making that unseasoned stuff. I'm over here with the fried chicken and candy yams now. And that was kind of, you know, and that happened a lot. That happened a lot in my life.
I love that you make the analogy of the food and music, because food and music go so well together. They evoke the same emotions and feelings.
Yes. And you know, and think of it this way. Both of them have to be served. You technically, sure, when I play a song for you, I'm serving that song for you. We may not look at it that way, but we serve someone, and they feed. The problem is we hold musically. I try to for myself, and I try to tell others who may deal with writer's block and things of that nature. One reason why they do that is because they're trying to hold on to it like it's still theirs. And I'm telling you, no, once you serve it, it's theirs. Yeah. That song is now yours.
Yes, it doesn't belong to you anymore. It
doesn't belong to you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the food. And it's such an amazing similarity. But for some reason, we look at music as if it's some level of ownership.
You know,
and maybe sure.
That's so good. I love the things you're saying. That's why I knew I had to speak to you again, because as I said, we did speak before, but I knew I had to speak to you again because you say all the right things, and the vibe and feeling and energy is just so on point. You know, as you say, you write music, you create music. It is for everybody. It's not just for you. You know, it's for everybody. So
yeah, and I think it's just a small reminder. I think you get that kind of reminder that will help you. That helps me stay creative and stay in a creative zone, because I'm at a point now, man, I'll be honest with you. I have stopped even looking at that I create anything. I may find it, I may put it together. I may put it together better than most people, but I'm at a point now where I look at it that I can't claim to create a song anymore that a cook can claim to create a fish.
Yeah.
The words have all been there. The feelings have all been there. The notes, there's not one note that you will ever hear me sing that has not been hit before.
Yeah.
Every note exists, every sound exists, but we can arrange it. There's so many
It's
variations
the
that we
order
can,
in which you put them that makes it yours.
and the openness to reveal yourself, to find it, right? And
Yeah.
how much are you willing to get out of the way to capture, like, here's a food analogy again. You got that auntie who's not a
See,
professional
this is
cook.
a guy who loves his food, a man after my own
Yes,
heart.
yes, yes. You look at that auntie who cooks a very simple meal, but it's the best meal in the world. Why? Because she put love in it. She put love from the moment she started cooking. She knew she was putting love in it to lift your spirits. And there's something about that extra thing to it, right? So it's like the feelings you got to be in when you write the song, or and sometimes you carry things that get in the way of the creativity. So for me, I'm constantly, how do you stay in that zone? How do you stay true? Is that you got to put the love in it, and you got to get out of the way of yourself.
Yeah,
So
I think that goes for anything that you're creating, whether it be food, music, friendships. The starting point has to be positive. It has to be good energy. It has to be love for something good to come out at the end. I,
totally,
you
totally,
know,
I'm right there with you. So definitely got me hungry now.
yeah, you're the one with all this fried chicken and da, 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 da. Come on, macaroni cheese. I'm here drooling. Now, you were nominated for 2 Grammys.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, you see, look, he's so nonchalant now. He's forgotten about his nominations. He's like, oh, Grammy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It was a big honor. I mean, it was I think one was 10 years ago, another was 9 years ago. But it was great. I mean, it really showed me as an independent artist, and especially at that time, it was really unheard of for an independent artist to be recognized in that way. And it wasn't just me. I think that year Bilal was also nominated, and Foreign Exchange, also who's independent, was nominated. So we all kind of were doing it together, but
Yeah.
really paving the way. So when I look at PJ Morton winning Grammys now as an independent, I feel like that's a little bit of the shift. Things started to shift in that direction around the time when we were getting nominated. So it was a great honor.
And
It made me work hard.
about time too, because the industry has changed so much. And what I'm finding is I'm speaking to all these legends in music, and they're now independent. Whereas back in the day, they all had big record companies behind them, and it's all just changed. So it's good to see that independent artists are getting the recognition, because they're amazing artists. They're making amazing music, but they just haven't got that big company behind them as back in the
Yeah,
day.
I I, I, I tell people all the time. I feel like some of the best music in the entire world is being made right now. You just got to work a little harder to find it, and
Yeah,
that's really the only difference. But man, I'm constantly blown away by an artist. Like, what was that? That's crazy. Like, wow. But and that person maybe 15 years ago would be D'Angelo or Eric Badu. You know what I mean? But it's a
yeah,
little bit different now.
it is different.
But nevertheless, though, I think there's some great music being made, and now I think the difference, even though we have so much music coming out, you got to think that 20 years ago there was so much music being made that wasn't being released, and that's a travesty in itself too.
Yeah,
As a songwriter, I watch over and over again great records be made that could have had a chance to be impactful. It could have easily been, this person could easily be the next Maxwell, could easily be the next Patti LaBelle, but it didn't come out. And when it didn't
yeah.
come out, that was it. It was like, I was like, man, that's it. Like, you're not gonna try, you're not gonna shoot a shot. It's like, that's just it. And that never made sense to me. That never made sense to me. It's like, okay, don't put it out there. I'm gonna put it out here. Like, it's coming out. You're
And
gonna
I
hear it.
think that's what it is, because again, I have to pay reference to the artists that I've spoken to that have been signed, and they've come up with this great project that they absolutely love. The record company going, not sure, and they don't release it. Whereas now, artists are not putting up with that. They're like, well, you know what? You don't want it, I'll put it out elsewhere. So,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
So
so you came in.
it's a bit, yeah. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
go
What
ahead.
was it?
Go ahead.
I'm saying it's a bit of a
I was
trade off.
saying,
I think there's more. There's too. There might be people might look at it. There's too much music coming out now, but there's a lot more artistic freedom now. So you just got to make it
yeah,
work.
yeah, there's more artistic freedom. But I was going to say, you came in kind of the tail end of the change in the music industry from the big record company to more independent stuff. How are
Yeah.
you dealing with that? Are you noticing the change and difference yourself? And has it impacted what you've been doing?
Well, for me, being that we've been independent for so long, and I kind of started noticing. I mean, I made that shift because I didn't want to be that lost art. I didn't want any of my records being shelved, and I had enough record deals and signed and dropped enough times to see what that side looked like for me. So from that moment, from what I would tell you, for the last 20 years, we've had to adjust. We've had to pivot. If something didn't work, we had to try something else. So I'm comfortable, man. Like
Yeah,
pandemic, all the shows canceled. Okay, let's hang up a green screen. Let's do some virtual. Like, we've always had to figure out another way. Radio won't play us. Okay, guess what? We just come to that town. We just camp out for a week. Like whatever we needed to do, we did it. I think a bit of, if you get a little too used to the big companies, and there's a benefit to that because they're putting a lot of money and marketing behind your songs, but at the same time, you become dependent on that, and you kind of have that waiting spirit. Well, I'll wait for them to make that happen, and if it don't happen, then it just won't happen. And I'm like, no,
yeah,
I don't believe in it. Just won't happen. If they don't do it, then I'll be right there to do it. Like it's just it's not an option,
yeah, yeah,
So for me, I've always had the kind of pivot spirit, and I've seen it adjust. I mean, physical copies and all your mom and pop stores closing, and then digital comes in, and then streaming comes in, and you got to make those adjustments. And Facebook comes in. You have to kind of see, okay, how does this fit into the industry? And I think in the next 2-3 years, we're going to have a huge technology shift again.
yeah.
And I don't think you can afford to be like, I'll skip that one. I'll wait till the next. Nah, you gotta adjust to whatever comes about.
Absolutely. And sadly, I'm an old man, so I'm of the generation that still appreciates the physical copy, the
Yeah,
vinyl, the just reading through who's in the studio, who's done this, that, and the other is orgasmic in itself,
yes,
But
yes.
I have to say, the digital copy doesn't have the same, even though it's fantastic musically, it doesn't have the same allure.
Right, right. I agree. I mean, there's vinyl and CDs. My wife took out way too much in this house.
A time when it was
But
about displaying your vinyl covers, the new Stevie double album or or whoever, Earth, Wind and Fire. It was about the
right,
vinyl and the covers, and
totally,
a
totally.
download doesn't seem to do the same thing.
But we still make physical for those who want it, and even like vinyl has a resurgence now, and I think that CDs will probably do the same. At some point, somebody's gonna be like, "Man, I want a CD player,"
Right.
you know. But yeah, it kind of comes and goes. You might have
Yeah.
froze up a little bit. Am I frozen? Can you see me? Oh, 1 2.
Yeah. And you actually,
Oh, there you
yeah,
go.
you're back.
Yeah,
You're
froze for a
back.
second. Yeah, it was good.
You had another accolade bestowed upon you, which was one of your tracks was chosen for the installation of the Commonwealth Memorial for the African
Yes,
Americans, Asians,
yes,
and Caribbean
yeah,
in the UK.
yeah. I was amazing. A young brother.
And what was the name of the track?
I have a song. So it's a song I wrote. I did that. I did that
Uh-huh.
song maybe 25 years ago. I did it for a movie called Prison Song, and I was approached during a tour there of having that song be part of that memorial situation. I was like, man, it sounded great. So yeah, I was honored to be a part of it. I think they might even try to do something else. I think they might want to add a remix or something. I got hit with them recently about like adding
Oh
adding like
wow,
another
okay.
vocalist to it and stuff. But I'm all for it, man.
Right.
I'm always about like take a minute, see what somebody's working on, and then like pay attention to see how much they believe in it. If they really
Yeah.
believe in it, I'm sold, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that is quite an accolade because it's quite a prestigious and meaningful thing to that community that they get the recognition, you know, for their contribution over the years, and there's a permanent memorial, and your song is attached to that. So it's really something quite special. But I love how you're collaborating with different people. Now, the real people stuff that you did with real people,
Yeah.
loving that,
Yeah.
I have to say. Save a little love for me. Okay.
Great record. Great record. Yeah, that was so Ali and those fellas, great guys, real people, man. They're so talented. And I remember when he sent me that idea for Save a Little Love for Me, I said, this is about to be out the park, you know.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we did it a long time ago. He held it for quite some time. I think when pandemic kind of started as well. So I was just like, I was so excited for this song. I was like, when is this song coming out so we could sing it and we can, you know, dance to it. And we had a lot of fun making the video as well. So just good time, but that's good people, man. I really enjoy working with them.
And Carmen Rogers, loving that duet.
That's my sis, man.
Yeah, you know that's why I have to speak to this guy.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Have you interviewed Carmen or Fonte in any of them?
No, I haven't. You're the main man at the minute. Come on. You're the main man at the minute.
I'll take it.
So we swiftly and smoothly move on to the new single Lessons.
Yes.
Which came out in the 6th of June.
Yes. Yeah. It's a special record. It's getting a lot of attention. We haven't released it in London yet officially, but it will.
Don't worry, we're always with our finger on the pulse over here. We know what's going on.
Okay? Yeah. So, but it's a special song, man. It's a song I wrote the morning of my 13th anniversary, and I think just being, I don't know, it kind of had me in a very reflective spirit.
Right.
So something else showed up a little more like that. We talk about like Auntie cooking with that love. It was something a little extra love was in that song.
Up in the writing that morning.
It showed up, man, and I found it, right? So I found it, and it's a special song, man. I think the reaction to it has been mind blowing, man. So I think it's gonna be a really good song for me.
It is. It's fantastic. But what I also love is how you put that you gate crashed Samara and Jamie's wedding. Now you gotta tell me how this came about. Because the video I've seen is them getting married, you sitting down with your usual style. How did this all happen?
Well, going back, my sister, my older sister is she's a floral designer, and she designs weddings and things of that nature. So I remember calling her and telling her I want to shoot a music video. I'm trying to figure this out. And I said, are you planning? I mean, she does probably 2-3 weddings a week, right? Just crazy.
Right.
So, but is there any specific, initially what I was going to do is she has a floral shop, and I was going to say, hey, just take all your flowers out the freezer, take every single one, and let's just make a wall of flowers. And I just kind of, and she said, well, you know, we could probably, I got a beautiful couple that's getting married next week. You should do that. You should be there. And I was like, okay, let's hit them up. So majority of stuff I shot was before they ever showed up. But then I was like, hey, I'll sing her or the bridesmaids down the aisle if you let me actually like shoot in the video, like she skip the community and shoot you guys. And they were really great and allowed us to do it. So I think it's special where when people talk about the video and now we showed the couple, and people say, oh wait, they were a real couple. Oh, that was a real wedding. It's like, yeah, man, we were hiring all those extras to come in. You know, we're trying to make it we're trying to spend as less money as possible. So they were gracious enough to let us
when
crash.
You're independent, right? I get it.
You know, so they let us crash their wedding, and it was a beautiful wedding. And yeah, man, it helped the song out tremendously. I think people are loving the video too.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't think they'd protest too much and they say, well, Eric Roberson is going to come and would like to do a song at your wedding. I don't think you got too much protest or resistance.
Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll find. If we get any letters of agreements, we'll get it later. But it was really nice. It was funny because, you know, it was during the pandemic. We were all being socially distanced and being safe. But I came out the back, and you know, I walk in and take my mask off. You can kind of see a bit of like, what is he doing here? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
naturally.
you know, it was. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was.
You start to rub your eyes and wonder, am I really seeing right? Is it him or is it just someone that looks like him? Maybe.
That's his cousin. That's his cousin.
It can't be. What, he's coming singing at your wedding? Yeah. Well, it's fantastic. So the new single is called Lessons.
Yeah.
And it came out on the 6th of June in the US. Apparently, we've been left out in the UK at the moment. We're being overlooked. Even though we love him over here, we've been overlooked. But don't worry. I'm sure it'll come to us soon.
London is getting a special delivery. A special delivery. It'll be bigger and better and just as beautiful. They just have to hold tight just a little bit.
Dangerous longer. Silver tongue. Dangerous. Dangerous.
I'm just getting Auntie to add a little bit more seasoning to the collard green.
We're going to get a bit more seasoning.
She put a little extra love.
I said, Auntie, so.
There could be a little bit more in this. She took it back. Okay.
So this is going to England. This needs something extra.
Right.
So it's available on all platforms, right?
Yes. All streaming platforms. You can also go to my website. For those, if you can't get it right now, you can go to my website, Eric Roberson Music, and just get a digital download.
Okay, say that a bit slower.
No doubt. If you go to my website, Eric Roberson Music, you can get a digital download on the website. Even going one step further, I have a great thing called The Process. And The Process is 900 people who subscribe to follow me in the studio. So every song, every idea, everything I make, they get a copy of as fast as I make it. So I made this song in front of them, like the whole idea.
Right.
So they've had the song for months. And as well as the marketing plan that we put together, we put that marketing plan in front of them. We told them everything we were going to do. So I allowed them to see my process in all things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if anyone's interested, go to jointheprocess.com and take a look. I think you would love it in there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, and it's all those little nuances that keep you connected with your public and your fans and your followers, because they like to see those things. They like to hear, the real fans like to see those things. They like to hear the story that's been told today by yourself. So, you know, it's really important. And we love that you're so personable and allow us to get to you and hear this story and inspire people out there that may be thinking of following the path but are unsure. Yeah. And you're just like, you know what?
Yeah.
So thank you very much. All the best with the new single. We're awaiting it coming to London. Can't get here soon enough. And in the meantime, all success in the world, and keep that social media going, because we love to see what's going on with you and the family and the music.
More than happy to share it, man. More than happy. I greatly appreciate it. I love the red couch too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's took a while to get in here because the front door was too small. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me and my rubbish. We're here to talk about you. Anyway, lovely to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure, and keep inspiring us and shining that light.
No doubt, man. Take care. Good to talk to you.
All the best. Thank you.
Take care.